So thank you everyone for joining us for the EMBA, MBA, What is the Difference? My name is Lori Filippo, Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment. So to start out with, we're just going to go over a little bit about the graduate admissions side. So why grad school? Only about 14.4% actually hold graduate and professional degrees. A graduate and professional degree does make you more marketable, more sought after from employers. It does give you the different skills that employers are looking for, so that self-discipline, leadership, communication. So why grad school at UNLV? Why are our students staying at UNLV to go to grad school, continue on, and why are students coming to us for grad school? We are a prestigious R1 ranking institution. This is the highest ranking an institution can receive. We're one of only 131 universities in the US to actually hold this ranking. We do have over 175 graduate degree and certificate programs, and this includes more than 40 doctoral and professional programs. And we are the second most diverse university in the country. This is according to the US News and World Report. And you can also see here some of our other rankings, such as being top 10 in social mobility. We are one of only 119 universities to have the community engagement classification. And as you'll hear a little bit later from the EMBA and MBA, they will actually have their own national rankings and accreditation. So on top of being an R1 ranking institution and a regionally accredited institution, a lot of our programs do hold their own rankings as well. At UNLV, you'll get to learn from nationally and internationally recognized faculty. You'll do a lot with the community, which again, you'll hear about in just a little bit with the local employers. You'll also be able to study in labs, research centers, libraries. So you'll have access to a whole bunch of resources while you are a student on our campus. We do know that our students are very non-traditional. We do offer classes in the morning, afternoon. We have evening classes. We have hybrid classes online. We even have fully online programs. We try to offer a full experience to our graduate students. So one way is offering graduate assistance. We'll touch on this in just a little bit. And then of course, you'll be able to form those relationships with your faculty and your classmates. Now, if you're not familiar with UNLV, we were founded in 1957. We have over 5,000 graduate students currently on campus, which over 1,000 are international students, and they're coming from well over 80 different countries. Okay, so paying for graduate school. So this is just an estimate to give you an idea of what a graduate student may be looking at for one academic year. Going full-time. So full-time for a graduate student is considered to be 9 credits, or it would be the same as taking 3 credits each semester. So if you went full-time, your annual tuition and fees could be, if you're in state, a little over $7,000, or if you're out of state, a little over $24,000. Now, again, this is an estimate, and this is around what students are paying for this current academic year. But we do want to help out any way we can with that expense. So some ways we do offer assistance is through graduate assistantships. We have over 1,000 GAs on campus. These are students that are studying and also working on campus. It could be a research GA, it could be a teaching GA, or we even have non-academic GAs on campus. What they cover is they will cover your full tuition up to 9 credits. If you're out of state, it will waive the out-of-state tuition, and you'll be considered in-state while you are on that GA. The GA also provides an annual stipend. It just depends on the department and also what type of GA you are, but this will be between $17,000 and $22,000. While you are a GA, if you need to use UNLV's health insurance, it will also cover the health insurance benefits. And one thing I like to point out about the health insurance, if you are not a GA, but you enroll in 9 or more credits, you automatically will get hit with the health insurance charge. However, if you do have your own health insurance through your work, again, outside of UNLV, then you can go ahead and just waive out of ours. So that is completely fine. So if you're not a GA, you have your own health insurance, make sure you're waiving out of the UNLV health insurance so you don't get that charge on your account. However, if you do need to be a GA and you do need to use the UNLV health insurance, we will cover that cost for you. There's also summer tuition benefits. We also provide 5.7 million in awards. This is for new and current students. There's fellowship opportunities, and there's many awards for all different things: teaching, research with the academics, community service. Definitely contact your departments to see if there is any kind of funding opportunities that they have, maybe through scholarships or awards, and always check out your Rebel email, because that's the best way to be in contact of what is going on and what kind of funding may be available out there. We also have the low cost of living and tuition. So with Nevada, we have no state income tax. There are many residency options. You are not required to stay on campus as a grad student. However, we do have upperclassmen housing available, and there's some housing less than a mile just outside of the UNLV campus itself. So definitely check it out. We try to help out as much as we can with the financing. While you are a student with us, we also want to make sure that you are getting a full experience. And so some ways we do that is offering many free resources to you to not just help you through your graduate degree, but also help you to get into that career afterward. So we do offer the GPSA. The GPSA does cater to graduate and professional students. They offer free certificates, career support, and different locations as shown in this image. We do have a few grad commons on campus that are just for grad students, and you can utilize all the technology, whiteboards, the printers, kitchen, so all the different spaces, and it's just for grad students. There's also the Grad Academy. They also offer many free resources to grad students. And I like to show this slide just to give a better idea of what exactly they are offering. And again, the nice thing is that all of these services are free to UNLV students. So just to touch on a few, there are the certifications. So if you are going for that EMBA or MBA program, you may also want to get the mentorship certification. And this will just make you that much more marketable and sought after when you are talking to your employers. So to apply to graduate school, once you know which program you would want to apply for, you'll start your application in either the Grad Rebel Gateway, or we have what's called the CAS application, the Centralized Application Service. So it just depends on your situation for which application you need to fill out. If you have any questions about the application, definitely contact us. CAS is very new, so we'll help you out any way we can. But in either portal, you'll go ahead and upload your documents directly to that system. The application fee is $95 for international students and $60 for domestic students. The main thing with grad school is to know your deadline. All of our graduate programs do have a specific deadline on when you have to submit your materials by. Once you do submit your application and materials, your application will first be reviewed by the graduate admissions team. They want to see that you have a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution. For that bachelor's degree, they will want to see that you have at least a 2.75 overall GPA. If you fall below the 2.75, they will look at the last 60 credits to see that you have at least a 3.0 GPA. We do need to see transcripts from each post-secondary institution you attended. If you completed coursework or degrees outside of the US, we do need to see a copy of your transcript both in the original language and an English translation if it's not already in English. If you are not a US citizen or permanent resident, you may also be required to show proof of English proficiency, which would be like the TOEFL, Duolingo, the IELTS exam, or if you completed a post-secondary degree from an institution where English is the primary language of instruction. Once we do our initial review, We will then send your application and materials to the department where they will review your whole application and make the admissions decision. So you'll hear a little bit more from EMBA and the MBA on what their department requirements are and what they're looking for when you do apply for their programs. Again, make sure just to know that deadline if your program only admits once a year, if you have to do the GRE or GMAT test, if you need to get any kind of letters of recommendation, statement of intent. These things do take time, so make sure that you know what your deadline is, know what your requirements are so that you can get everything in and ready to go. Just to mention, we also have many events coming up. So keep looking back on our calendar. There's also some fairs and tabling events, or even if you have not been on our campus before, we also offer tours. So definitely keep a lookout on our calendar and stay connected with us. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. We are available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'll send it over to Dr. Bentis.
Thank you so much, Lori, for that great presentation. I will be going over the Executive MBA program here at the Lee Business School. We have quite unique aspects of our program. So some of the things that Lori said are applicable to Executive MBA and some are different in regards to cost. The program offering, how we are offered, are a bit different. Also with our student body, being Executive MBA students, we do expect them to be working full-time, so GA-ships and different sorts of support like that are not as applicable to our student body, but we do offer scholarships to our program. So about the Executive MBA program, I stated earlier, so our Executive MBA program is an 18-month accelerated program. We're designed for individuals who have about 7 to 10 years of work experience and about 3 to 5 years of management experience. The average age of our students, because of this years of experience, are typically a bit older than the traditional MBA program, and they're usually in our late 30s, early 40s in our program, and using the Executive MBA for a different purpose. For example, traditional MBA programs, students typically use it for upward mobility. For the Executive MBA program, a lot of our students already have reached in their current positions or their current employers kind of their peak, and they're looking to transition. What I mean by that is we have a lot of students who are, for example, in the corporate environment and now are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs and changing their sector. Or we have students who are doctors who have an MD degree and then want to start their own business, or so are now getting the business acumen through our degree to transition to opening their own practices. So upon graduation from our program, we hope students have a deep understanding of business functions. A lot of our students in the Executive MBA program, our program is the first time they actually are taking a business class. They've been exposed to business concepts through their work settings, but they've earned their degrees in many different sectors. Again, we have students who have bio degrees, English degrees, liberal arts, film degrees, but now know they need business skills, so they're coming to our program to get that. So our program also provides a great overview of business. What I mean by that is we start with foundational courses such as statistics and accounting and finance. And we also have marketing courses, strategy courses, entrepreneurship. So in that 18-month duration, you get a full gamut of courses that go over a great business acumen. We also teach you the ability to analyze complex situations, make difficult decisions. In our program, we're also very hands-on in our curriculum. What I mean by that is our student body, again, the Executive MBA program is smaller. Our typical cohort size is about 18 to 25 students. So you really can't hide in our classroom. When you're in class, you're fully immersed in it. And also the instructors can see you in the classroom. We are fully in person, and that's purposeful. We feel that in order to get the most out of the curriculum, you need to be there in person. But being busy executives, we also have to, be able to fit into your schedule, which is why our 18-month program is done on a Friday, Saturday, every other weekend model. So again, it's an in-person program. It's a Friday, Saturday, every other weekend that you have class over the 18 months of the program. Also, on completion of our program, students have increased confidence. Also, in our Executive MBA Council, which we are part of, we have a 14-point increase in pay from start of the program to the end of the program. So again, Executive MBA versus MBA. One thing about our program is it's a cohort experience. What I mean by that is the cohort you start with in summer. We're a summer start program, so our next cohort starts summer, June of 2024. We'll graduate in December of 25. Do the whole program together. It is an 18-month lockstep program. So every single class you have together, you take with your cohort. The picture I'm showing on the top right corner is our cohort that started in June of 2023. They're actually in our new location. So our Executive MBA program is actually not held on campus. We have a new space that's at the Howard Hughes Center, our UNLV incubator, which students have enjoyed because one, parking sometimes on campus can be a little tricky. So in the Howard Hughes Center, it's actually right in front, and our neighbors of the new Formula One is our neighbor in the Howard Hughes Center. So students have really enjoyed that executive level environment in the Howard Hughes Center. Again, we're more accelerated. Our program is 18 months from beginning to end. So you take classes again, Friday, Saturday, every other weekend. I can also provide a document for you at the end of this presentation that gives you the exact dates you'd be in class. You can prepare ahead for the program. Also, the curriculum of our program, as I stated earlier, we provide a broad overview of business. So you take foundational courses such as, again, business, accounting, finance. You don't have to have previous experience in it. And one thing we also do, as I stated earlier, is that our students have varying levels of familiarity with business in the formal setting. For example, they didn't take business classes in their undergrad degree, but then again, utilize it now. So we provide quite a bit of support services for our students as well. For example, you take accounting and finance in your first summer, which is a very challenging summer. I don't want to undermine that. We provide mandatory tutoring for our students to make sure they have that foundational skill set. Our tutors work hand in hand with our instructors. They work with them for multiple years, so they know the curriculum, so they can prep you for these sessions, because again, they're quite rigorous in that each class is, again, Monday, we are Friday, Saturday. Classes are 8:30 to 12:30 for the first class. You have an hour lunch, and then 1:30 to 5:30. So you have 8 hours of class on that Friday and 8 hours of class on that Saturday. So in addition to that, we want to provide that tutoring to make sure you're getting the content of the courses. Also in our program, the culminating project in our program is our international seminar. We feel in order to really understand business, you have to both experience it domestically and internationally. So as part of our trip, you are required to do an international seminar. The countries you are visiting are determined by your cohort. You take a class in fall of your first year called Negotiation Conflict Resolution. And in that class, you and your cohorts vote to determine where you're going to be going. For example, our cohort going on a trip this December, we're going to Milan, Italy, and last year we went to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. Again, our program is a 43 credit class. It's 20 courses in person over that 18 months. Again, it's a lockstep program in that you take all your classes with the same group of individuals starting in June and finishing the following December. Again, we're an accelerated program. MBA is 24 months, and our program is 18 months total. Again, we feel it has to be done in person in order to get the experiences, and also in order to really immerse yourself into the curriculum as well. Again, we are a weekend format, so we're a Friday, Saturday model. So when I go over the application materials, one thing we do require from your employer is a corporate letter of sponsorship, just so they understand that you'll be out of work on Fridays to complete the program. One way our students are able to get this accommodation is that what you learn in the classroom, though, is not something you'll use 2 years from now. What you learn in our classes in marketing strategy is you're able to apply to the classroom and apply to work settings right away. And also, oftentimes, our faculty members ask you to bring in real-life examples that you can bring into the classroom, work out those situations, and bring that knowledge back to your colleagues the next day. So again, just to give an overview of the Executive MBA program, we have a rigorous approach where we integrate both theory and practice. Our faculty are a mixture of practitioners who have been in the field. For example, our entrepreneur faculty members, the director of our entrepreneurship centers, own many businesses. He's in our program. We also have faculty members who are renowned researchers, such as Stephen Miller. We also have an ethics of business course, which Frank Judge Sullivan teaches, who's a current judge or just recently retired in Clark County. So we have a good practice of practitioners as well as administrators who teach in our program. Also, we try to replicate the business environment in our program. You work in groups in many of our classes. We feel it's really important to replicate that business environment. You do work with different personalities, so we integrate that into our coursework as well. We have a lot of live cases that are discussing current issues in our program that are part of the curriculum as well. Again, we bring in guest speakers to also bring in their expertise. And also in a lot of our classes, we do site visits. We take you out to different companies and businesses like in service operations. We can see what you're learning in action. Also, the global perspective, we feel, again, it's very important that you experience business both domestically and internationally, so that international seminar is required as part of the program. We always leave the day after Thanksgiving and come back the following Sunday, so it's a 9-day trip. This just provides an overview of the many different companies that have participated in the students where they have worked in our program. And you can see we don't have overrepresentation in one. In each cohort, we're very purposeful in order to have students from multiple sectors, such as healthcare, business, finance, entrepreneurship, hospitality. So we try to bring a wide variety of expertise into each cohort, so it's very well-rounded. The cost of our program this is the all-inclusive cost of our program. Because we're an 18-month program, this cost includes all tuition in the program, but it also includes everything associated with the program. What I mean by that is it includes the international seminar, so it includes a 9-day trip to different countries, airfare, single accommodations included. When you're in class on Fridays and Saturdays, you're provided breakfast and lunch when you're in the program. We want you to focus on the coursework as well. We also provide all your textbooks. So before you leave, you join the program, before you start your next set of classes, all your textbooks are provided to you. We have a very concierge-like experience for our program. In addition to the concierge-like service we provide through our program, which we help with, we are considered a cradle-to-grave program. What I mean by that is myself and my team work with you through admissions. We're your advisors when you're in the program, and also alumni development. Last Thursday, we just had an event with over 100 alumni celebrating our 20th year of the Executive MBA program. So just to let you know, by joining this program, you're also joining about 400 alumni in the Las Vegas area and around the world who have dedicated themselves to the Executive MBA program as well. We do offer scholarships for the program, but again, in order to get the most of our program, you should be working or are working full-time, so you can bring those experiences from your work setting into this environment. Admissions requirements is going over what Lori did as earlier. We do require a bachelor's degree from an accredited university with a 2.57 GPA. Again, in our program versus the MBA program, we're usually 7 to 10 years of work experience with about 5 years of management experience as well. Again, we do require a letter of corporate sponsorship to just so confirmed from your employer that they're aware that you'll be in classes on that Friday, Saturday model. Also, personal recommendations that can be from a colleague, maybe coworker, maybe someone in the community who knows your work. You can prove that what a great leader that you are. A self-evaluation is a 2 to 3 page statement on why you're interested in pursuing the Executive MBA program. We do not require the GRE or GMAT for admission to the Executive MBA program. We do a test that's called an executive assessment. It's a 90-minute exam that goes over the quantitative, qualitative, and critical thinking skills. The executive assessment can be done at a testing center or it can be done in your home. However, if you do have a master's degree or some of our students have other terminal degrees, again, like an MD or DDS degree, we will waive the executive assessment as well. After all materials are received, we then do a personal interview. Each candidate is interviewed. We want to get to know you. Again, this is a tight-knit group, 18 to 24 students per year. So we have an interview with myself, as well as a faculty member and alum. We want to be as transparent as possible and answer any questions that you have about the program. Our final consideration deadline for the next cohort is April 26th of 2024. Classes, again, will begin on June 14, 2024. But we do have a priority deadline of December 1st, 2023. So if you apply by December 1st for our program, we will waive your application fee for the Executive MBA program. Any questions will be done at the end. So thank you so much for learning more about Executive MBA program. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Bentis. I will go over a little bit about the MBA program, and as Dr. Bentis mentioned, I'll weave in a little bit kind of a comparison between MBA and the Executive MBA program. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. So a little bit about the business school. Both the MBA and the Executive MBA program are part of the Lee Business School, and the Lee Business School has AACSB accreditation, which is the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. And that accreditation, only 5% of the schools internationally have that accreditation, and we are the only program in Southern Nevada. So when you look at the university's R1 ranking, an accredited business school, it really is a value whether you look at the MBA program or the Executive MBA program. So we have a number of different degrees within the business school. We have graduate certificates, and some students will start with a certificate. Maybe they're not ready to commit to a full MBA program, but they're interested in getting a little bit of information either on the graduate certificate in business administration, the new venture or entrepreneurship and innovation certificate. So you can start taking one of the certificates listed here and transfer them into the MBA program, or possibly one of the other degrees that we offer. And they're listed here: accounting, management information systems, applied economics and applied economics and data intelligence, cybersecurity, economics, the Executive MBA, the Evening MBA program, which is a hybrid MBA, management information systems, and quantitative finance. So for the MBA program is in the an evening program. So the courses are typically Monday through Thursday, and it depends whether or not you go full or part-time. It is flexible. Some students working full-time maybe take 2 classes in the evening, total of 14 courses. So it takes typically about 3 years to complete the program part-time. Now, if students are able to attend full-time, it would take 4 semesters. So you could start fall, spring, summer, fall, be done with the program. So it is flexible. The program is also a hybrid format, which every other week is remote. And as Dr. Bentis mentioned, we do value that in-class interaction. So we do have the in-class portion every other week. And then those are the odd weeks. Even weeks, you are remote. We do have concentrations in marketing, new venture, healthcare, MIS, human resources management, and finance. We also have a number of dual degree programs, which is nice because a lot of the individuals that are in the program have very different backgrounds, different industries. We have students that have engineering degrees, business degrees, criminal justice degrees. So it's really a nice, diverse group of individuals that have different academic backgrounds, different professional backgrounds, and different goals for what they want to get out of the MBA. So it's really nice to be able to connect, learn from, and learn with all the other individuals in the program. So the general MBA, again, it's an evening hybrid program, 14 courses. So those 14 courses in the program, and you can take 7 core courses and 7 electives for the general track. So if you want to kind of piece together those 7 electives to take a few finance, a couple of human resources, and kind of make your own concentration, you can do that. Or you can look at the different concentrations that we offer in marketing, MIS, human resources, finance. So you could take 7 core courses that all students take, no matter if they're in the general MBA, a dual program, or a specific concentration. Those 7 core courses all students would take. Where it differs is what the students will take within their concentration courses and their electives. So if you take a concentration, 7 core, 4 concentration courses, and then 3 electives. These are the core courses. It gives you that breadth of business. So you have your accounting, leadership, finance, marketing, economics, statistics, and then it's all tied together in a culminating experience in the capstone, which is typically your last semester. So these courses are required for all students, again, whether or not they're a dual MBA law student or a general concentration student. Now, we have several dual degrees, and the benefit of the dual degrees is that those students in those programs save credits on the MBA side, and in some cases, they also save credits on the other side of the dual program. So instead of taking 14 courses or 42 credits, combining the MBA with another degree in one of the dual programs allows students to save 4 courses on the MBA side. So for example, the dual JD MBA with the law school, the MBA is 30 credits reduced from 42. The law side is 89 credits reduced to 80. So instead of doing the 5 years to do both of those programs separately, when you combine those two, it's 4 years and you get a JD and an MBA. So that is really the value of doing the dual program. You have the more general MBA side, since there's business in every business, no matter what business you're in. And then you have that industry specific side on the other side of the dual, like the JD MBA or the MD MBA. We also have, I mentioned earlier, certificates. So for students that aren't sure if they want to do the MBA, but they do want to get a little bit of business background, the certificate allows those students to do that. And those 5 courses for the certificate can be transferred into the MBA program if the student decides to pursue the full MBA program. So this is a great option for students to kind of get in, start taking the courses, and then pursue the MBA afterwards. On the graduate side, the MBA side, the tuition is a little bit less than the executive program. The EMBA program has the concierge service, which we don't offer in the MBA program. Students would register themselves. The international trip is optional versus mandatory. And the program for in-state is somewhere around 21 to 22,000. Out of state, still very affordable for students that are coming from other states, anywhere from 30 to 52,000, depending on whether or not they're going full-time or part-time. So when you look at the value of our MBA, our graduate programs, and the executive MBA program, it truly does provide, any of those programs provides a great return on your investment. So one of my favorite parts about the program, both MBA and executive MBA program, is the experience. The slides here are mainly for MBA students, but I know the executive MBA program, as Dr. Bentis mentioned, they have a lot of experiences that they do share as a cohort. So I'm going to turn it over to Marlena for a moment, who's a current MBA student, to talk a little bit about her experience in the program, and then I'll go over a little bit more information.
Thank you, Lisa. So hi, everyone. My name is Marlena Gatlin. As Lisa mentioned, I'm currently an MBA student, so I am on track to finish this December, so in 2 months. But reflecting back on my MBA journey, the program has really provided such a supportive environment where I've had the opportunity to learn from brilliant professors, but also collaborate with diverse classmates. So I think, as Dr. Davis mentioned, you're in class with individuals that don't specifically just have that business background, but came from different degrees. So for me specifically, my undergrad was psychology, and then I transitioned over to MBA. Some of my classmates came from accounting, some of them were in those business majors, but some were from, STEM fields or health sciences. So it is sort of a collaborative environment where you're connecting with different groups of individuals. You also have individuals that were in different work settings, whether they had 10 years of experience or whether they've only had a limited work experience. You get to connect with different people. And then also the hybrid modality. So 1 week you're in person, and then the 1 week after you're hybrid. So you have that opportunity to network with individuals, but then you get that off week to sort of catch up on what you need to, and set the pace for yourself. And also classes are lecture based, but they also provide real world examples. So you get to talk about cases and you have interactive discussions. So you have the opportunity to present questions and present answers. And then also, orientation for this program is nothing like I've seen before, but it's not the policy and requirements and here are your credits, but it's that opportunity to connect with your classmates. So during orientation, it's 3 days. You have the team building exercises so that when you get to classes on your first day of class, you see faces you recognize and you're already comfortable talking to your classmates. And then lastly, I think just the privilege of having a bunch of opportunities for networking. So you get networking opportunities. So whether you're attending Vegas Young professional events or you're attending specifically business school opportunities, there is lots of interactions and lots of connections and lots of, opportunities to expand your horizon. So that's the journey I've had, and I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Marlena. So I have a few additional pieces of information as well for career and professional development. We have the Lee Business School has a career and professional development that works with MBAs and executive MBA students where they are in their career. So for some students, they may have 15 years of work experience in maybe IT, but they want to switch to marketing. So that office will assist them in kind of making the transition. We also have students in the MBA program that have limited work experience. Maybe they have a year or two of work experience and they want to switch jobs, move up in their company. We do have the folks in our career services office that can help guide them on kind of how to make the next move. And I think that's a really important part of going back to school is what you plan to do after you receive that MBA degree. So we do have a great career services office that services both our MBA and our executive MBA students where they're at in their career journey. Beyond the classroom, for the MBA program, the international trip is optional. It is an elective. So this picture is from Hangzhou, China. We traveled to China. This was from 2018. We visit domestic businesses doing business in the country we're visiting, international companies that are doing business in that country, and then domestic companies that are doing business. So it's a great opportunity to take that international business idea and travel to someone and learn more about how business is done in another country. So definitely valuable experience, not only to learn the international business aspect of it, but to connect with your classmates. It's really a lot of fun to be in another country, explore and share that experience with people that you've been sharing your education with. We have speaker series and student mixers. Next week, we have a Moonlight Mixer where we have students from not only MBA program, but the other graduate programs that come together right before one of their classes. So it's from 4 to 6 on Tuesday next week. So they'll be able to drop by, talk to folks, grab something to eat, and then go on to class. Speaker series, we have people come in on a variety of topics. And that's not only speaker series, but a number of the faculty will have guest speakers within the classroom. Depending on what their class is will really depend on what type of speakers will come in to the classroom. Rebel Venture Fund is an opportunity for individuals that are interested in new venture to kind of see the backside of new venture and the funding part. Students are able to work on vetting proposals for funding and then determine whether or not they're going to make an investment in that company. So it's a great opportunity for students to see kind of how new venture is done. International trips, I already mentioned. And last year we went to Italy. And that picture's from Italy in Verona. We've gone to Russia. This is the oldest Kremlin in Novgorod, Russia. So both of these were part of the culture. In China, this picture's from Sany Industries, which is a local company that we visited on that trip. So it's a combination for both MBA and Executive MBA program. And Executive MBA added another component that we don't have in the regular MBA trip. And if you want to add that, Nadine, because I'm not sure, you've added some type of consulting.
Yes. So as this course is a requirement for the Executive MBA program, one thing we've done is that you will be working with a company in country. So as part of the requirement, you'll be doing a consulting project to do the business plan strategy with that company. So we identify a company for you before you go. You meet with them virtually ahead of time. When you're in country, you'll visit with them twice. And then the deliverable will be a presentation to them after you've met with them about 2 weeks after returning from the trip. And so you really get to build a relationship with a company abroad. So hopefully that'll build future networks for you abroad as well.
And this is a new thing that's been added to this trip or the last trip? I wasn't sure.
It's starting this trip.
This trip, yeah. So that's exciting. We don't have that part in our trip. Ours is still focused on business visits, and the culture side. And of course, both trips, culture is also, food is part of culture. So we do spend some time with some awesome food from that country when we're on the trip. So great opportunity for both MBA and executive MBA students. Some of the other things that we do for students to kind of connect them, as Marlena had mentioned, we start off the program, and executive MBA does as well, to really immerse students into that experience. So during the program, we attempt to create a lot of opportunities for students to continue those relationships outside of the classroom. So these are some of the events, and we've been doing karaoke for probably 10 years, and it's still to this day is one of our best attended events. I had no idea how much MBAs love to sing, but it is a great opportunity for students to really have fun and show off their singing talents, or in my case, my lack of. During the pandemic, we started hiking adventures so that we could safely connect with some of the other students, since during the pandemic, we were fully remote. So we had opportunities for students to connect in a safe environment. Bowling is another thing that we've done. We've also done line dancing at Gillies, just a lot of different things, just to keep the students kind of connected during the semesters. We also do business visits. So beyond the classroom, to see a little bit more about what type of businesses we have in the Las Vegas area. We did visit businesses internationally, and Las Vegas has a lot of very unique businesses that I had no idea in some cases even existed. Most students know that City National Arena, home of the Golden Knights, T-Mobile, and Area 15 exist. But some of the things that we learned at City National Arena, how they have integrated themselves into our community, some of the things that they're doing for the community, and what kind of the big picture is for them. Same thing with T-Mobile. We walked T-Mobile, learned that it was a sustainable facility, and kind of how difficult it was, or easy it was, to switch from a Thursday night concert to a venue on a Friday night game, and what that looked like. So it was really interesting to see how quick they can switch that venue. Area 15, we did a hard hat tour before they had anything in there. It was just walking through as they were letting us know what it was going to look like. So we did have a picture of what it looked like before it was actually built out. We have a business visit this semester going to Huddle Brewery. We've done 2 or 3 breweries in the past where we find out more about the process from the brewmaster, but not only how they brew the beer, but also what their supply chain looks like, how they get their product, how they distribute their product, just a lot of good information regarding their business. And then after that event, we'll have a mixer. So it'll be a lot of fun for our students to connect that way. We've done the VA hospital business visit, found out a little bit more about the difference between a public and a private hospital. Another opportunity for all students, not just our MBA students, but grads and undergrad, is the President's Innovations Challenge, which on most of the winning teams over the past 2 years, we have had business students on those teams. So it's a great way to bring an idea to fruition. Blackfire Innovation Center business visit we did last semester, found out a lot more about the resources that they have there available for students. So a little bit more outside of the classroom to kind of create a well-rounded educational experience for our students. We also have student testimonials that you can access. Lori will send these presentations out to you within the next couple of days, and you can watch some of the students talk about their experiences, why UNLV, and why they're, why they came to UNLV, and the kind of experience that they're having in our programs. So I'm going to touch on a little bit about the application process. If you do have questions, please reach out to myself, Nadine, depending on which program you're interested in. The application process is similar but different. If you'd like to find out about both, please reach out to both of us as well. So for the MBA program, we have deadlines 3 times a year. It's different with the executive program. It's once a year. For the regular MBA program and the dual programs, we admit fall, spring, and summer. Our smallest group coming in is usually in summer because we don't offer those core courses during summer. We only offer those in fall and spring. So fall class is typically our biggest class. Our classrooms, usually we won't have more than 40 students in a class, so it's small, but you're not going through the MBA program like a cohort. We create a little bit of a cohort experience during orientation in that first semester when you're taking leadership teams and individuals in accounting. But after that, it kind of splinters depending on the interests of the students and how their schedules work. For the application materials, transcripts, resume, statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, we require 2, and then in the entrance exam. Now, we do not require students that are in the law school, dental school, or med school to take the GMAT. We don't require students that have terminal degrees to take the GMAT, or students that have significant work experience. They would be able to put together a GMAT waiver. In other cases, though, for students that don't meet those requirements, they would still take the GMAT exam. Graduate college determines, they review GPA, so typically 3.0 or higher will consider students for full admission. If it's below 3.0, we could consider the student for provisional admission. GMAT or GRE, we accept both. We have full admission and provisional admission, and we look at that GMAT score on a case-by-case basis. I get a lot of questions about the GMAT, and the GMAT is changing. Both GMAT and GRE this semester, they are going to a shorter, more, I would say, direct test in both the GMAT focus and the GRE test. It is expensive to take the test, so definitely do a lot of sample tests if you're going to be taking the exam. It's $275 if you take it at the testing center and $300 if you're taking it remotely. This is the testing center for the Las Vegas area. If you go to MBA.com, you will find whatever testing center is closest to you. You can look that up there. The new Focus edition, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes versus the longer exam. There's 1 score versus there are 3 separate scores on the previous GMAT exam. The essay section was removed completely. We look at your statement of purpose for your writing sample. It allows you a little bit more flexibility to change answers to questions. This was not an option in the previous GMAT. You are able to send that score to up to 5 schools. And you get detailed score reports for free as well. And that's something new on the GMAT exam. This is a little bit of the comparison between the existing GMAT that will no longer, I don't believe it's, I think November 7th is when they start testing for the GMAT focus, but it's a little bit shorter. The reasoning, verbal, and quantitative section are the 3 sections that you see in the test, but you won't see as many questions. And again, it's more streamlined than the older version of the GMAT. So that's a little bit of information about graduate college, the Executive MBA program and the admission requirements, the MBA program and the admission requirements, and a little bit of the difference between the 2 programs. And then the admission requirements, Dr. Bentis mentioned for the Executive MBA program, we covered a little bit in the MBA program.